Good morning, winners. Welcome to the Power of One. Happy Sunday to you. And listen, happy Mother's Day to you guys. So for all the mothers out there, I hope you are having a blessed, stress-free, relaxing Mother's Day, doing something that you enjoy, staying safe on this self-quarantine. And I just hope you're having a really, really great day. And so let's jump right in, because for today's The Power of One, I'm going to highlight my mother, Donna Gonzalez. So listen, this is something that has been on my heart since I started this series, and I'm going to get through this video without crying, I promise you guys. And so it's very fitting to do this actually on Mother's Day, because that's who I'm highlighting. And guys, you know, in every single video, there is a lesson. I am not just talking to be talking. And so I'm highlighting my mother for a reason. One thing I want you guys to get in your spirit, and I want you to write this down, is that it does not get any easier. You just get stronger. And what I mean by that is that for all of those blessings to manifest, there is a version of you that has to evolve. You have to grow. You have to be stretched. And so in today's video, there are 3 lessons that have helped me get to the next level. And I learned those from my mother, my biological mother. And so number 1, write this down: the power of forgiveness. The power of forgiveness. Number 2, the ability to not be a victim of your circumstances. And number 3 is work ethic. Okay, and so let's talk about what is the power of one, who am I, and then I will jump right into the story so I can outline this for you. So number 1, thank you. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment. I sincerely hope that this information shared is helpful and valuable, and these are things that you can actually apply and learn, and that can help you on your journey. And so my name is Terry. I own a consulting firm that focuses on business credit, personal credit, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, investing, specifically real estate investing. And The Power of One is a series that I do every Sunday morning, and it highlights somebody in my journey who has helped me get to the next level. But guys, it is not about me. I'm highlighting examples, but out of each one of them, there's a lesson for you. And so the reason why I started The Power of One is because I know who my audience is. So many of you are first-time entrepreneurs, first-time, investors, first-time home buyers. You guys are the very first time having a small business. You guys are people who have dreams, visions, goals, hopes, purpose. And a lot of you are the very first ones in your family are thinking outside the box. And the technical stuff we can teach you. You can learn. But the personal growth, guys, the personal growth, the version of you that you have to grow into to get to that next level, to get that blessing, that is something that I think sometimes people are missing. And so The Power of One kind of outlines, it is every Sunday morning, how one person, one mentor, one coach, one opportunity, one obstacle in your life, one season in your life can shape you, and they can grow you, and that everything happens is not by chance. Everything happens by design. And so if there is something you're holding in your heart, you're holding in your spirit, and you just cannot get out of it, and you also do not have the lifestyle, you do not have the dreams, that things are not manifesting in your life that you really want to be, there may be a reason why. Power of forgiveness, the ability to not be a victim of your circumstances, work ethic. So let's jump right in. And so you guys are probably like, well, wait, how is she highlighting her mother? And she always talks about being in foster care and being in and out of group homes. I'm going to explain. So, yes, I was in and out of foster homes. Yes, I was in and out of group homes when I was younger. And my youth was not picture perfect. And guess what? Many people's youth wasn't picture perfect. We all have something that we dealt with. But the reason why I'm highlighting my mother is because I was with her on and on, back and forth, back and forth. And when I talk about the power of forgiveness, guys, I walked around my entire youth, probably my entire teens, my entire 20s probably too, honestly, being angry, mean, resentful, having abandonment issues, just always carrying all this hurt from kind of being in and out of foster care and kind of being in and out of group homes. And what I know now, what I learned as I got a little bit older and I reconciled with my mother, is that she did the best that she could. Guys, kids don't come with a manual. You know what I mean? She had her own things that she was struggling with. And, my mother, if you guys saw, I posted on my Instagram today, because it's a hard day for me. I'm not even going to lie. And part of the reason why I share this stuff, I hit play and I just talk, is because transparency. You know, everything doesn't have to be picture perfect. And I just share with you guys and hope that I am impacting somebody on the other side of this message. And that my mother was Portuguese, my father was Black, and so mixed little baby. And right now that's no big deal, right? Everybody has, you know, mixed, and things have evolved, and we're in the 2020 time frame, and it's much more accepted. But I want you to take a snapshot of all the way back in the 70s. So my mom, blonde hair, blue eye, Portuguese, and she was, going to college, and then she meets, a Black man, and they get married, and she drops out of college, and she has this little mixed baby. And guess what? She did not have a lot of support. It was not something that was very favorable, and she went through a lot of things for having dropped out of college, having, a mixed biracial baby back in those times. And so she struggled. And on top of that, I was very, very, very sickly. So you guys know I've talked about self-quarantine during COVID-19. I'm super high risk because I have really, really, really bad asthma. So bad asthma to the point where I almost passed away twice when I was younger. I actually was in the hospital for 14 months. 14 months straight because of my asthma because of how bad it is. So severe asthma that I will never grow out of, that I take medicine for to this day. Super high risk is why I have been taking self-quarantine very seriously. And so when I mean all of that is you guys also hear me talk about, becoming a mother at 17, and then how a lot of that changed my life, and how I bought my very first house at the age of 21. Not because, I wanted to take selfies, not because it was a cool thing to do, because back then, honestly, there wasn't even Instagram or Facebook. So while everybody else was going to Cancun and living their best life and going on trips and had nice clothes and all those things, I was grinding to buy a house for my son because I just wanted stability. I knew what it felt like to go from house to house, to situation. And for me, it was about stability. But I learned that I wanted to break a cycle because of what I went through with my mother. And so, learning, being able to take the positive out of every single situation. I know now that she did the best that she could, and she struggled with addiction, and I had a ton of medical bills, and it was super hard for her. She was by herself because she got divorced when I was 3 years old, and she was basically on her own. She didn't have any support, partly because of her dropping out of college and her having a biracial baby, and it just really was a lot for her. And so as a child, I did not understand. I was mad, I was angry, even with the times when she would fight back for me and I would come back home, I would run away, I was disrespectful, it was a hot mess. And looking back now on it, I would have done so many different things differently. But when I became a mother, I kind of felt like, all right, I have to kind of let all of that go. And so I forgave her. Like before I even had a conversation with her, before even saying anything to her, like me, myself, I got tired of destructive behavior. I got tired of being angry. I was not living how I should be living. I just was doing reckless things and just not making really good decisions. And I came to a point when I became a mother that I said, all right, I just need to let this go because it's destroying me on the inside. And guys, I want you to understand that forgiveness is not about you. Forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is actually about you. It doesn't mean the other person is right or wrong. Forgiveness releases you, whether they accept it or not, whether they know about it or not. Forgiveness is about you. And so me carrying around that anger, that hurt, that resentment, that abandonment was only destroying me. It was only destroying me. And so when I had my son, I said, you know what? I'm going to reconcile with her. I'm going to have a relationship. And when I tell you, she loves, and my oldest son, his name is Tez, and she loved Tez, So she would, get him all the time and, do things for Christmas and do things for Easter and do things for Halloween. And she treated him like the best thing ever. My mom actually cleaned herself up. She got saved, and she really just turned around completely. We never had the conversation about my past before, but she cleaned herself up for herself. And I had an adult relationship with her, probably from the age of 20 on. I had a really good relationship with my mama. We were building and growing and building and growing. And so, and sometimes I'll even be honest, I said, but well, she ain't do that with me. She ain't do that with me when she was doing all these things for Tez. And what I realized is it probably was redemption. everything that she didn't do with me is like she was doing with him. And at first, the part of personal growth, I was like, I didn't get that. You didn't do that with me. And then I just was like grateful that my son had, a grandmother in his life, because my father passed away when I was 16. He also struggled with addiction. And then my mother passed away just recently in 2017. She was only 59 years old, went to sleep, didn't wake back up. And it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me because I felt like God took her right when we were building a good relationship. All right, get it together. Right when we were really building a good relationship. So fast forward. So I have forgiven her. We were having a great relationship. That power of forgiveness released me, guys. That power of forgiveness released me. And it was before I ever even said anything to her. One day she actually had mailed me a letter in the mail, and had basically said sorry to me, and basically said that, she did, if she had a chance to do things differently, that she would have, and just kind of said that she loved me. And we still never even spoke about it. But that letter, I had forgiven her years and years before, and it enabled me to grow. It enabled me to look at things differently. It enabled me to let go of my hurt and my pain so I could evolve to the person that I needed to be for my son, for my future, for my blessings. Now, the ability to not be a victim of your circumstances. I could have went around, I was in foster care and I'm a teen mom and blah, blah, blah. Listen, those things are the things that enabled me to go harder. Did you hear me? You're not a victim of your circumstances. A lot of times those things that have happened in your life are the things that are meant to motivate you, to make you go that much harder. Because I was in foster care, I said I do not want my son to bounce around. Because I felt abandonment issues is why I said I have to have stability. And so instead of me saying, well, this is how my family has always been, this is what I've always seen in my life, and continuing that cycle, I decided to break the cycle. The ability to not be a victim of your circumstances. I promise you, whatever reality you want to create, you can, despite anything. If you go back and you look at the stories of, Jay-Z and Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry and 50 Cent and even like Estee Lauder, like so many people, the CEO of Starbucks, like if you go back and look at all these people who are wildly successful and listen to their story, their beginning, so many of them overcame crazy obstacles to be wildly successful. There's no difference between them and you. None. And so that's where not being a victim of your circumstances, but actually realizing, like, to be honest, because I bounced all around, like I lived in the ghetto, I lived in nice neighborhoods, I lived with Muslim families, Christian families, I can interact with black people, with white people, with Asian people, with the janitor, with the CEO. My ability to relate to people, my ability to adapt, my ability to be grateful for every single thing I have came from my upbringing. Those things built me. That's what's enabled me to have empathy. This is why I care so much about my clients, and why sometimes I probably get like, some of us are really like friends now, like friends. And it's because of those things, my compassion and my gratefulness that came from how I started in life. And so you fast forward to when me and my mom were having a great relationship, and I was in a network marketing company called Organo. Yay, Organo. So Organo was my very first time being introduced to personal growth, leadership, mentorship. Like that situation, being introduced to Organo, shaped me in a way I never even imagined. That is how I transitioned from corporate America to actually starting my own business. This is my very first time ever knowing what an entrepreneur was. This is 2015, guys. Like, we're not talking about a long time ago. I was introduced to Organo in 2015. My mom passed in 2017. Okay, I want you to get this time frame. And so I had a bunch of mentors in network marketing. And I will say this: I'm not saying that you need to go out and be in a network marketing company to be successful. But what I am saying is that when you understand mentorship, when you understand personal growth, it was my very first time, first of all, listening to being introduced to Eric Thomas and Associates. Thank you so much, because that has been such a blessing in my life that you cannot believe. That I was introduced to that from a leadership meeting from a network marketing, where one of the leaders put him on the screen and said, listen to this message. And it was about grinding, about work ethic, about being able to be successful and wanting it more than you want to breathe. Like everything that came from, me being introduced to network marketing, and then my mentor introducing me to personal growth. affirmations, into reading, into giving, and the selflessness about helping other people. When you help other people, then you help yourself. Like the more people you help get what they want, then you get what you want. And so that network marketing shaped me like nothing else. And so I remember saying to my mother, I'm going to be a sapphire. I'm going to be a sapphire. So a sapphire was a level of leadership where you had to help, I think it was 6 people become leaders at the time, might be 4, and you had to have at least 14,000 in revenue in 1 month. So mind you, I started in 2015. I said, Mom, I'm going to be a sapphire. I'm going to go to Vegas and be celebrated. I'm going to take you with me. You're going to watch me walk the stage. 2015. I work. I get wildly successful in network marketing. I do well, but I keep on missing it. I keep on missing it. So the sapphire, it was like a milestone for me. And it was a promise that I made to my mother. So February 2017, my mother passes away. So I say to myself, I promised my mom I would be a sapphire. I promised my mom, I must do it. Guys, that very next month, March 2017, my mom passed February 2017. I became a sapphire. I helped 6 people become leaders in the company, and I think it was 15,600 in revenue in 1 month. Guys, when I tell you, it was so bittersweet because I was like, I promised my mom I must do it. I grinded that next month like you would not believe. You would not have known that I was grieving. You would not know what I was going through. I grinded like until I would pass out. Like I worked so hard. Phone calls, meetings, backups, you know what I mean? Like conference calls, like everything, going to go visit people, talking to customers. I mean, I went so hard. $15,600 in 1 month in coffee. I want you to get that, in coffee. And I broke down in tears when I found out I hit sapphire, because then I knew that there was no reason why I couldn't have hit it in 2015, in 2016. It wasn't until excuses were not an option. It wasn't until I really made a decision to do it that it manifested. And then I knew I had the power to do it all that time before, while she was here to be able to watch me walk the stage. Guys, work ethic. Like even with me being in foster care, like I will tell you guys, I have worked, like whether you like me or whether you don't like me, one thing you cannot say about me is I do not work. Like anybody knows me says that girl goes hard. I worked at Mrs. Fields. I worked at Claire's. I worked at Arby's. I worked for a plastic surgeon. I did network marketing. Obviously, I worked for a National Credit Bureau TransUnion, which is why I'm a credit expert. You know, I work in the healthcare. You know what I mean? I was an executive in healthcare. I've always worked. And when I was younger, if you guys remember, like, you know, you had to have working papers when you were like 14 years old. Well, what did I tell you? My mother struggled with addiction. My father wasn't there. I was kind of in and out of group homes and so forth. And so I would lie, guys. I would lie on applications and say I was 14 years old, and I would work. And they would say, we need your work papers. We need your working papers. We need your working papers. I would keep on stalling them until they would finally say, listen, you cannot work here anymore until we get your working papers. And I would quit and work somewhere else. Guys, I was buying my own clothes. I was buying my own books. Like I was buying my own everything because my mom was struggling with addiction. I will say addiction is addiction. Like people, it can be like a disease that is passed down. And I bind up that curse because I'm blessed that I have never had any kind of issues. And part of it is because I saw what it did to her and to my family. And I just always, you know, I went the other way. And so that work ethic, listen, it's so funny. So there's a saying, a Jay-Z quote from a video that me and my pastor said. I would say at my church, and now my pastor, shout to JITB, to Pastor Mike and Pastor Miriam Brown, put me anywhere on God's green earth and I'll triple my worth. I used to say that all the time. Put me anywhere on God's green earth and I would triple my worth. It's not about money. It's about survival. It's not about money. It's about legacy. It's not about money. It's about giving back to the generations after me so they do not have to grind the same way that I did. And so that work ethic came from how I grew up. That work ethic came from me not wanting to continue the cycle. That work ethic came from me seeing what I went through with my mother and seeing what I went through with my youth, and me saying, it stops here. I break that generational curse. I bind that up. My boys will not have to go through that ever. And so guys, when I talk about the power of one, sometimes it's a business opportunity. Sometimes it is a connector. Sometimes it's a coach, but sometimes it's something in your life that has built you, that has grown you, and you are missing it. You're missing the lesson. If there's anything you deal with, I want you to go back and say, what is God trying to show me? What is the lesson in this? What am I supposed to take out of this? And I thank my mother for doing the very best that she could with the situation that she had. And I thank you, like when she passed away, I had to go through all of her belongings. And I was going to have the note for it. I was going to read it on this video, but I couldn't. I couldn't read it on here and get through it. So, but I found a note that she wrote to me in 2014 that she had just put in her things. And when I went through, she had all these pictures of me. She had stuff from when I was in preschool, all these photos. She had all this stuff from Tez, and she wrote a letter just saying that she was very proud of me and that she loved me and all kinds of other stuff. So can't get through it. So anyway, I'm thankful for my mother because, she built me. She built me and she did the best that she could. And I'm so appreciative and I love her so much and I miss her so much. So I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, those 3 lessons are very, very, very important. Forgiveness. People sometimes do the best that they can do. Nobody is perfect. Kids don't come with a manual. So if there is somebody that has hurt you, if there's somebody that has done something to you, if there's something that has gone on in your life that you cannot get over, forgive them for yourself. It releases you. You have to grow to get to that next level. God cannot give you these blessings if you haven't learned certain lessons. And sometimes he's working on them. He was working on her and I didn't even know. But I know now, and now I wish I would have done so many things differently, but I'm glad that we had a good adult relationship, and I'm glad that I was able to spend that time with her before she passed. The power of the ability to not be a victim of your circumstances. Everything happens for a reason. Like, I work so hard, and I'm so careful about who I deal with and how I deal with you guys and speaking life into you, because I know that so many people have a story, and that when you're trying to grow, a lot of times you don't have that support and people aren't speaking into you. And then that work ethic, guys, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice? And so what did I say in the very beginning? It doesn't get any easier. You just get stronger. The power of one. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that those lessons are something that you really think about and you really apply to your actual life and see how it can change your energy, your spirit, your path. And sorry for crying. I tried to get through it. I really did. I think I did pretty good. And I would love for you to be a subscriber, to like, to share, to comment. And I'm looking forward to sharing so much more of your success. Have a blessed day and have a happy Mother's Day. Amen.